Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. Oh, we're going back to the multiverse for this one. So some new Sonic news dropped while I was sick like a dog. That's where I've been, by the way. So I'm here to apologetically talk about this game so you all don't forget I exist. But whenever I'm down, I'll slap on my old Joy-Con boys shirt, rest in peace Etika, and get right back on the saddle. Oh, you didn't know I had a camera over here too? CrossWorlds, baby! All right, so I'm jumping into the Sonic Racing CrossWorlds site just to see what's been announced so far about this game. Of course, it's a brand new racing game in the Sonic or Sega All-Stars racing catalog, but now it's been streamlined down to Sonic Racing in general. I think Team Sonic Racing was the last game that was released, and that was 2019. So this is a really, really cool announcement because I think this series has been very polished. I've said on stream before, I think that this series is actually better than Mario Kart, leading up to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I think that has edged out a little bit. Before that, I was a bigger Sonic Racing fan. I don't know, just don't call me out for it. Like I love Mario Kart, but still, it was great. Sonic Racing is great. I'm dying. All right, so Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. Get ready for races that transcend dimensions. Sonic has traveled to all kinds of worlds over the years, but when the travel rings, that's a new word, travel rings bring him to the multiverse. We are going back to the multiverse. That was a joke. Oh shit. A brand new adventure, unpredictable races, wild competitions await. Sonic Racing CrossWorlds is currently under development, so please stay tuned for further updates. So that's all we have on the overall introduction of Sonic Racing. So if they're confirming that it's a multiverse, what the hell does that mean? It means across different games, right? Because I think in some of the images, we've seen glimpses of things from like the storybook games, and other worlds that Sonic has been to, but I wouldn't really call that multiverse unless they're talking about classic worlds as well. But I thought that was the past and not a different dimension. Sonic lore is nuts. But there's actually some cool features here that they're playing around with, like dynamic courses. So passing through a travel ring takes you into a cross world for the second lap, and big changes happen during the final lap. Do you guys remember that arcade rafting game where you had to pick a side, like you're sitting next to somebody else? I don't see it often anymore. Maybe it's at some old Dave & Buster's dying in a corner somewhere, but you had to like raft with your partner and then you had to pick a side, and sometimes you'd fight for which one. Like one is like a volcano while one is just like a swift river. That's what I feel when they're talking about how the laps in the CrossWorlds work. But I digress. So clearly the dynamic courses are kind of building on what they were doing before, but now they have more graphical power to work with later consoles and things like that. In like All Stars Racing's Transformed, you would change your vehicle from a car to a plane or a boat. And in some maps, they would become dynamic where it's all plane or all boat toward the end of those laps for those courses. They're already racing outside. But what they're doing here now is they're allowing you to switch the laps to go into a brand new course, some totally different dimension, which I think is super cool. And it leaves a lot of options for the players when you're setting up these races. Then they have something called frenzy gates, which randomly show up throughout the track, causing chaotic fun and mayhem for racers in the CrossWorld. So a big reveal in this announcement trailer is that Sonic starts riding an extreme gear at one point of these races. And I don't know how much I trust that shot because it doesn't look like he can select it out the gate. Now, maybe that's just me interpreting things or reading into things a little too much. And it's very limited shots of him actually on the extreme gear. Like, I know they want to, like, the cars are probably going to be the main source of transportation, but can I ride the extreme gear all the way through? Or is it just a final lap type of thing? Or is it just something that's exclusive to Sonic? It's kind of hard to tell at this stage of the game. But if this is the case and you can use any vehicle or any gadget that you want to go through these courses, this is a done deal for me. I was gonna buy it anyway, let's be real. But it definitely looks like coming back from the previous games, you'll be able to race across land, sea, and air and be able to transform the vehicle to those options depending on the terrain. Seeing the extreme gear really excited me because I'm a huge Sonic Riders fan. I mean, when you really clicked when you were playing that game back in the day, you could go so fast. And like the mechanics were like a little bit hard to get down because you had to understand the turbulence mechanics and then keeping the air in the extreme gear so that you could get through the race. And if you ran out, so you had to find like turbulence or you had to catch wind off of the backs of somebody else that's like right in front of you. And it's just like it never fully got polished in the way that I wanted it to. And I feel like so much is going on in this game that this is not really going to be the Sonic Riders sequel that anybody's really expecting. But hey, I will never say never. I like this series too, Sonic Racing. So I think it looks very polished. I think this is the next edition of the Sonic Racing games that we were looking for. I think some people were disappointed with Team Sonic Racing. Also in this trailer, we see a pretty decent lineup of characters, though they're all exclusive to the Sonic series so far. I already see Sonic, Eggman, Shadow, Knuckles, Amy, Tails, Jet the Hawk, who is pretty much a staple of Sonic Riders games, not necessarily racing games. Sage is joining, which I think is a very welcome introduction as a playable character for the very first time in the Sonic series. I'm glad we are all embracing Sage because Sage is the little bit of difference that we needed on the Eggman side. So I'm glad that she's making a full appearance. And there's a couple others out of shot that I'll probably have to look up as well. But as of right now, no sign of any Sega guests, no sign of any other Sega franchises in the trailer so far. But I read that there are rumors that they will be involved in some form of fashion. It's interesting that we see none of them in this trailer though, because Sega, it seems to be trying to expand their franchises and at the same time, they're not doing it. So where's my guy Beat from Jet Set Radio? Where is Ryo Hazuki from Shenmue? I want to see my guy Vice from Skies of Arcadia, but I'm probably speaking way too soon. We'll see. So also on their site, you can apply for a closed network test, which begins on February 22nd and ends on the 24th. Your boy has already applied, of course. But the goal of this test is to give players the chance to experience online play with world matches so that we can improve online multiplayer functionality and identify any problems. Pretty cool that we'll be able to play online with other players and be able to test out what looks like 6 main courses. TheMentok from the future here. I realized that I was looking at the Asian version of this site this whole time, and some of the information is different and has less details. So here's the North American one. Looks pretty similar, right? So this is confirmed to be the largest roster of any Sonic racing game, with 23 racers at launch and a ton more on the way, meaning that there's a ton of DLC that they're probably going to pack into this with more Sega characters. So I'm hoping that they just don't leave a bunch out just because they know they can package it later. Represent your people, Sega. They also say there's going to be more tracks than ever before, with 24 main tracks to transport to 15 CrossWorlds, which probably means that you can mix and match CrossWorlds and you don't really know which ones you're going to get, depending on each race. There are 23 different power-up items, including returning favorites and all new items like the monster truck, which is what's showcased in the trailer that I mistook for an actual vehicle, but you'll hear my surprise later on in the video. And then you can choose from 45 unique original vehicles, including Extreme Gear boards. This still doesn't answer my question about how Extreme Gears work, but this is a good sign still. So you can mix and match characters and vehicles to find the perfect combo, meaning they're accessible to everyone and not just exclusive to Sonic and Jet. Of course, you'll be able to enjoy these races with 4 players locally and then 12 players total online. I wish this was a little bit higher, but I'm actually cool with a 12-player race between Grand Prix, Race Park, and Time Attack modes. There is also a little slide here showing how you can customize this. I think this was a thing in Team Sonic Racing. I can't remember. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. The big difference between this site and the Asian site is that it actually names these courses. So these tracks do not have names on the other site, which is why I was guessing to figure out what they were before. So instead of doing that, I decided to cut that part out and just edit this in instead. So there's the E Stadium, which is going to probably be the standard speedway. Rainbow Garden, not Rainbow Road, but this actually does slap a little bit, I'm not going to lie. Water Palace, which feels like a reference to a Sonic Rush title, maybe? Metal Harbor from Sonic Adventure 2, and Ocean View from Sonic Heroes. Wonder Museum, I'm not sure where this is from. I can't tell until I get further into this course, but I like a museum as a backdrop for a racing game. This is pretty cool. And then many more to be announced soon. And then some of the CrossWorlds are announced here as well. Through Roulette Road from Sonic Heroes, which actually has a really, really nice overhaul here from the top down look. Dinosaur Jungle from Sonic and the Secret Rings. Lava Cave, I'm not sure if this is a Sega reference or a Sonic reference. This could be a Sonic Colors reference. I am not entirely sure. And Sky Road making a return from Sonic Riders with this nice little cute pink hue and this adorable Chow balloon in the top right. And Kraken Bay, which I'll let Past Me talk about. Back to you, Past Mentok. I guarantee you I'm not sponsored by Gatorade today, but I'm looking for new sponsorships. This one actually looks like it's from Sonic and the Secret Rings. I forget the exact name of that level. Is it Pirate Storm? Actually, this might be a reference to Haunted Ship from Sonic Rush Adventure. I'm well overdue to make a video about the Sonic Rush series because I love those two games so much. But to get back on topic, it looks like they're pulling these from different games, which still doesn't really classify as multiverse. I mean, technically, Rush Adventure takes place in a different dimension and so does Storybook. Okay, I see where they're going with it. That just means the sky's the limit. Sonic Spinball, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, Sonic's Schoolhouse? Come on, Sega, you can do this. Then we have the available characters in the test, which I named off a few of these, but there's a couple that I missed. So we have Sonic, of course, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Shadow, Cream, who we haven't seen in a proper game in a while. She's been in these games though, but not in a mainline Sonic title as of yet. So Eggman, we have Omega, and we have my boy Zaz. And when I say my boy, I mean I have no affiliation to this guy whatsoever, but he's made it into yet another game. So we have a list of machines, but this doesn't tell us much either. So the speed type, acceleration type, handling type, power type. This has been standard since the first Sonic racing game. 16 machines will be available in the closed network test. And then finally, they get into some features available for this test, which will be world matches. So you'll be able to play online, compete against players from around the world, and rise through the ranks. Ranges will rank from E to A. So you guys have 2 days to make yourself known on the internet. So go ahead and go get that clout. CrossWorlds. Customize your machine by combining a variety of tires, parts, and then add stickers and change color to personalize your ride. So this sounds to me like it's all cosmetic. And then we get to gadget customization, where you can equip your machine with gadgets that best suit your playstyle. Yeah, so gadgets are probably what you're looking for to alter the gameplay slightly for you. We see an example here, Speedy Air Trick, which performs air tricks faster, and maybe you can stack all of that to improve your overall playstyle as you're getting into these races. So there's some customizability here. It's a matter of what type of gadgets they decided to include in this game. I see an online manual for closed network test. And I don't know if that... Oh, is this information? This is actually really cool stuff. I'm glad that they did this beforehand because they don't seem to be hiding much. So it says a CrossWorld is at the end of the first lap, and the racer in first place chooses to go into one of 2 travel rings. So we see a little bit of this in the trailer. And then the second lap takes place in that selected CrossWorld. So if you are leading, you're choosing what everybody gets to do. And there's different CrossWorlds for every single race. Drift mechanics are still in, air tricks are still in, flight controls are still in. So you have the item list as well, and I don't think many of these really surprise me either. In my personal opinion with Sonic Racing, I find the items to be in this game a lot less annoying than Mario Kart's items. I think if you like a well-placed item from Mario Kart, stacked back to back to back will always put you on your ass, and it takes forever to get back in first place or even close to it. And it just destroys all morale. And there's people out there that like that. You know, there's people that like that little masochism. And on the other side, the people who are throwing it love that little sadism. I think for these games, it makes it a little bit more fair, because if you learn to race and you learn the mechanics and you're good at like really navigating these maps and like just putting the pedal to the metal, I think they're a lot fairer for somebody in last place to get back to first. So I think like it's balanced a lot better in these Sonic racing titles than Mario Kart, for instance. But there's fun in Mario Kart for just absolute chaos. So that, I think honestly, if that's more of your fit, then that's probably more of the game for you. Make up your minds on Twitter so I can give a proper opinion, because I can't form one myself otherwise. That was a joke. Okay, I don't see Extreme Gears on this list. Maybe there's something in here that will tell me more about that, because that's the part I'm excited about, and Sega, you cannot cook me on this. So they provide a gadget list, which I'm sure these are just the ones that are available in the closed network test. So there could be more in the future, but we see things like boost items will appear more often, attack items will appear more often, perform air tricks faster. I see a lot of things that can really tailor to different play styles depending on how you play. Do you play like an asshole? Then go ahead and be an asshole. But if you like to just catch speed the whole time, there's stuff here for you too. This tells me a lot, and I'm glad I caught it. So slipstream enhancement extends the slipstream range. Now that is a Sonic Riders reference. So basically that turbulence that I was talking about, or that slipstream that comes out the back of another racer that's ahead of you, you would be able to jump into those tunnels and ride that slipstream to gain more momentum and catch up to your opponents. So the fact that this is here tells me a lot that these mechanics are going to be introduced back into this, or I could be totally wrong and it's the slipstream from Team Sonic Racing. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. But maybe they just weren't fully ready to reveal all of the Sonic Riders mechanics that are baked into this. Which means that we could be having a lot more surprises in the future. So that's just the online manual for the closed network test. So all those details I just went through aren't everything that's going to be in this game. But for the most part, this looks pretty fleshed out and I'm excited to try it out. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If I missed any details that have already been released, I know IGN put out like a little playthrough that you guys can check out if you really want to see some gameplay footage the whole time aside from the trailer. But I'm looking forward to this. It's been a while since we've had like a really solid Sonic racing game, and it seems to be releasing just in time for Mario Kart to come out later this year or whatever, whenever the Switch 2 decides to drop. We'll see when that happens. I don't want to end this video with these thoughts. The world is a very loud place right now. And I know by now a lot of you are just stressed out by the overall noise. Like, it doesn't matter whether it's political, religious, about video games. You know, people come after me to talk to me and yell at me about video games. How could they? But remember, this is the spot where I want to make sure everyone can come to just to enjoy a little bit of facts and trivia and the sound of my hoarse voice for 15 to 20 minutes at a time. Just know you're loved, you're important, and you can do good in this world too. Something that I'm trying to learn over the next year. And this is my way of doing it right here on this channel. But thank you guys for coming here and just being a part of this and building it up. As I get to 90,000 subscribers, it's still pretty wild. But thank you for your support. And let's play some Sonic Racing CrossWorlds together, bruv. Get on my team, son. I'm gonna join a league. It's gonna be amazing. I'm out.